Most people spend their entire lives running from silence, drowning in noise, distraction, and endless motion, mistaking busyness for purpose. But silence is not your enemy. It is your teacher. The world is terrified of stillness. Yet every genius, every warrior, every philosopher who ever changed history learned to sit within it. They understood that solitude isn't loneliness, it's power. It's the training ground of the mind, the forge of the soul, the birthplace of clarity. Arthur Schopenhauer knew this truth deeply. He was born into privilege, comfort, and expectation, a life filled with noise, with people, with approval. His father wanted him to become a man of the world, social, connected, admired. He tried. He went to parties, met the right people, played the role expected of him. But inside he was dying. The world's applause felt hollow. The more he performed, the further he drifted from himself. So he did what few have the courage to do. He walked away. He stepped out of society's noise and into silence. Alone, without distraction, his mind began to wake up. He started to see through illusions that others never even noticed. He realized that solitude was not emptiness, it was truth. It was the one environment where the mind stopped reacting and started creating. Without the pressure to impress or conform, he became fully himself. His thoughts deepened, his ideas sharpened, and his insights became so powerful they would influence minds like Nietzsche, Freud, and Jung centuries later. Schopenhauer wrote, "In solitude, the small-minded person feels his smallness. The great spirit feels his greatness. When you're alone, you see yourself clearly. There's no audience to perform for, no mirror reflecting someone else's expectations. You're forced to face what you've been avoiding. That's why most people run from silence, and not because it's empty, but because it's honest. Solitude exposes the truth, and the truth can be uncomfortable. But only those who face it become strong enough to change." He illustrated this through what he called the porcupine dilemma. Imagine a group of porcupines huddling together on a cold winter night. When they get too close, they stab each other with their quills. So they move apart, but then they freeze. They spend all night shifting between pain and cold, never finding balance. That, he said, is human nature. We crave closeness, but we wound each other when we depend too much on it. We pull away to protect ourselves, then ache for connection again. Most people spend their whole lives trapped in that cycle. But Schopenhauer broke it. He stopped needing warmth from others. He found it within himself. In solitude, he discovered independence. He learned that true peace is not freedom from people, it's freedom from dependence on them. The less you need approval, the stronger your presence becomes. The quieter you become, the louder your power grows. Paradoxically, solitude makes you magnetic. People are drawn to those who are comfortable with themselves because it's rare. They sense something steady, something untouchable. The person who doesn't chase attention naturally commands it. Modern science now proves what Schopenhauer and the ancient masters already knew. Neuroscientists discovered the default mode network in the brain, the region that activates when we are alone and undistracted. It's responsible for self-reflection, creativity, and insight. It's where ideas are born, but it only awakens in silence. Constant distraction kills creativity. Endless social noise dulls originality. When you stop reacting, your mind begins to create. Solitude, therefore, is not withdrawal, it's activation. A study at Harvard confirmed it. People who worked alone on complex problems generated more original ideas and felt more satisfied with their results than those working in groups. Collaboration refines ideas, but solitude creates them. This is why every great discovery, invention, and philosophy in human history began in silence. Newton beneath an apple tree, Musashi meditating in caves, Einstein in isolation, thinking in stillness. The world was changed by people who dared to be alone. Schopenhauer also discovered something even deeper, that each person has two selves, the social self and the authentic self. The social self performs for others. It adapts. It pleases. It imitates. But the authentic self lives in silence. It doesn't perform. It simply is. Most people never meet this version of themselves because they never stop performing long enough to hear it. They are trapped in endless imitation, playing roles they don't even realize are scripted by others. Solitude breaks that illusion. In silence, you begin to hear your true voice again, the voice that doesn't care what others think, that doesn't need to compete or compare. This voice is the origin of all creativity, peace, and power. And once you hear it, you'll never want to go back, because you'll realize how much of your life has been noise, meaningless conversations, constant stimulation, shallow validation. In solitude, all of that fades. What remains is truth. But the path isn't easy. The first thing you meet in solitude is resistance. The mind begins to panic. You'll feel bored, restless, maybe even anxious. That's the withdrawal of the ego. You're detoxing from the addiction of distraction. Stay with it. Beneath that discomfort lies clarity. The fog lifts. The noise fades. You start to see who you are beneath all the performance. It's uncomfortable at first because truth always is. But once you pass through it, you'll never crave noise again. Schopenhauer's writings eventually became immortal, but in his lifetime no one cared. His book, The World as Will and Representation, sold almost nothing. He was ignored, dismissed, forgotten. Yet he didn't stop. Because when you build your strength in solitude, you no longer need applause. He kept writing, he kept thinking, he kept walking his path, and the world, as it always does, eventually caught up to the one who refused to follow. This is the essence of solitude. It makes you timeless. When your value comes from truth, not popularity, your work endures long after the crowd has moved on. The noise fades, but truth remains. That's the secret of every philosopher, artist, and warrior who ever reached mastery. They became comfortable being alone. Because in solitude, you no longer need to become anything. You simply remember what you already are. So ask yourself, how much of your life belongs to you? How much of your mind is shaped by other people's opinions? How much energy do you waste trying to be understood by those who will never understand you? Every moment spent chasing the crowd takes you further from your own path. The way back is silence. Find time every day to be alone. Turn off the noise. Sit in stillness. Watch your thoughts like clouds drifting across the sky. Don't fight them. Don't chase them. Let them pass. In that stillness, something ancient awakens. Awareness, presence, clarity. These are not learned through books or teachers. They rise naturally in silence. Schopenhauer once said, "A man can be himself only so long as he is alone." In solitude, you stop performing. You stop pretending. You stop fearing the judgment of others. You return home to your own presence. You rediscover the depth you've been searching for everywhere else. Solitude is not the absence of life, it's where life begins. In the end, the path of mastery is not about conquering the world. It's about conquering the noise inside you. Because when the mind becomes still, everything false falls away. What remains is strength, awareness, and peace. Silence is not the void. It is the space where truth speaks. Train your mind. Master yourself. Walk the Dojo Path.